What's up, guys? This is the Who Are They podcast. I'm your boy D2 Nice, and I will quickly be going over UFC's 288 main card with one thrown in. I feel like it'll be one fight worth the conversation. With that being said, don't hold your horses. Let's jump into this. Let's go. All right. So the one fight I think is still worth mentioning on the prelims is going to be Drew Dober versus Matt Fravella. And I just feel like these two are guys that are worth mentioning, even if they are not on the main card. Drew Dober being the slightly heavy favorite, definitely has a lot of fights under his belt. But Matt definitely has what it takes to pull away in this one and start to snatch the ears and eyes of the fighting community. I think this is going to be one of those fights to definitely stay tuned to. If you need to get to the bar or turn on the TV a little earlier, definitely Drew Dober versus Matt Fravella is going to be the fight to watch. So make sure you stay tuned. Now, who can't be excited to see another Gracie grace the octagon? Now, you have Kron Gracie going up against Charles Jourdain. And while I don't know much about Charles Jourdain, he seems to have a really good record behind him, at least fairly good. And I would say that if Kron is not ready, if he's not mentally prepared for this fight, he could be in for a long night. Now, Kron has taken some time off and now is finally coming back to the UFC and to that octagon. And I will say this, he seemed to be more about the business when it came to doing interviews. He just really seemed to be focused. But we know about sometimes assuming that people are focused when really it's just trying to mask jitters. I mean, it's been a while since he's had a true test, a true fight like this, because again, we know in the UFC, the caliber is always going to be just that much better. So with this one here, the 5-1 Kron Gracie, I still am gonna choose him, but that's no easy pick. He's been out for a while. We'll see what happens. Let's go. Now with the next fight, it's a toss-up if I'm even gonna say his name right. And if it's wrong, I do apologize, but Movsar Evloev, and he's going up against Diego Lopez. Now, this one here is, again, another fight where Dana White and crew are putting up some guys that maybe don't have the name, but they are trusting that they are going to burn the house down. There's no way that these guys are going to be this far up in the main card, on the card anyway, without the thought that they are going to do something spectacular, maybe even special. So with that being said, I'm going to be picking, drum roll please, I'm going to go with the Russian. I'm going to go with Mosvar, and we'll see if he's able to pull this one out. On to the next one, as always. Oh, what a wonderful life it is when Jessica Andrade is on a fight card. She is going up against Yan Xiaonan, and this is going to be another great fight. Now, Yan has a slightly better winning record than Andrade, but we already know what kind of fight Andrade brings to the table every time. She's a power puncher, she's strong and explosive, and she will pick you up off the ground if she gets the chance. So Yan has got to be quick, she's got to be explosive herself, and she's got to make sure she stays out of danger. Now, with that being said, it is very likely that if Andrade is not careful at any moment, Yan can put her away with the quickness. So we have got to make sure that we are keeping our eyes peeled the entire time, because again, this is one of those fights that can happen and end at any moment. But my pick for that fight has got to be Yan Xiaonan. I think that she will pull this away, whether by knockout or by submission. I just think she has all the tools. As long as she stays safe, it's always going to be in her court. Now, for the kind of fight that always gets the juices going, you have Bilal, remember the name, Muhammad, going up against Gilbert Durango Burns, and this is why we watch. The best absolutely fighting the best. Now, I like to call Bilal the talker because he's always going to advocate for himself, and nothing wrong with that. But you know what? This is going to be the time where if he takes out Gilbert Burns, he's more than likely going to be fighting for the title, even over Colby Covington, where Dana's already said, hey, he's got that next title shot. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if anyone finishes the other in spectacular fashion, because if that happens, then we're talking about someone is going to have to put their foot where their mouth is, because someone else may be fighting for the title. Now, with this being said, Bilal is definitely a very talented fighter, but when you're going up against Gilbert, you're going up against a guy who has dynamite in his hands and he can wrestle. So the danger is both on the ground and on the feet, and you got to be careful of that, because if he hits you on the chin, I don't care who you are, it's more than likely you're going to go night-night. So what I've got to say is this. I'm hoping for a great fight, but I got my boy Gilbert Burns. I think he pulls this one off. I think he brings this one home, and I think you'll probably see him fighting for the title next. Let's go. Alrighty then. So you have the king of the bantamweight division going up against the king of cringe in Henry Cejudo, King Triple C, Mr. Bend the Knee. Whew. Well, it's time. And here's what I'll say. You know, all the talk of ring rust, all the talk of taking time off. Is he prepared since he's been preparing champions? Well, I believe that there is a lot into someone who does something for a living and then now they teach it. And you got to remember, Aljamain Sterling has started to take that role at his gym as well. He is showing the new generation how to do what he's been doing, and that just reinforces all the things that you do well, and may also reinforce some of the things that you don't. So that, I would say, they're both probably slightly tied, only hedging towards Henry Cejudo, just because when you listen to his breakdowns, when you follow his podcast, he does break things down in a highly intelligent way. You know, he knows his stuff. He has been training the likes of John Jones, Jiri Prochazka, and Davison Figueiredo for that matter. And with that being said, you're talking about a guy who is elevating the best. And that means if you're going to elevate people who are already great, there's got to be even more greatness inside of you, just packed in there. Now, I'm not going to hold you when I tell you I still got Aljamain Sterling pulling this one off, but you better believe that at any moment there could be one of the largest upsets in the UFC for this fight night, this main card. Henry Cejudo does have a lot of talent and he has all the skills to pull this off. I just do believe that with being outside of the octagon for so long and going up against a guy who's explosive and fast and can wrestle, has dynamite in his hands, I just think that this may not be the fight that he gets back to the winning column. But I'm not saying that he won't get there sooner than later. With that being said, you've already heard my prediction on this fight. Gotta go with Aljamain Sterling. It's time to go watch, people, and we out.